Hello and welcome back, guys. You are gaming with me, Brothgar, and today I've got some more Planet Coaster for you. Now, 2 episodes ago, a person named XX Minecrafter XX recommended that I try to build a spaceship in the sky. Now, I gave that a try, and this is what I have come up with. So, let me go ahead and show you the time lapse of me making this bad boy, and then we'll get into some of the details of why it ended up looking the way it does. So there you have it. That took about 50 minutes or so for me to actually build this building right here. And one of the preconditions that I wanted to do is to actually make this a building instead of it being some sort of aesthetic parts that are just floating around in mid-space that you couldn't actually move as one unit. So this is one of the prerequisites that I wanted to make, it having the ability to move all as one unit right here. So you can see how it's kind of doing this, and if I really wanted to get into it, I can sort of rotate it around and do all that some stuff. And that's because it's actually a building. It's all one unit. Now, the problem I had is that this piece right here, whatever it is, this sort of like part of castle or whatever it is that I'm using for these jet engines, or the rocket engines in this case, those were not able to be laid down. And there are actually many scenarios or cases while I was building this where I wasn't able to rotate the actual building blocks as much as I would like to. A lot of the things like the scenery or the VFX or any of those, the props, you can have a lot of freedom of where you want to put those, rotate them, push them into things and whatnot. But the actual building blocks like the roofs, the ceilings, the walls, those are all pretty static. I mean, you can move them around a little bit with some freeform tools, but you can't really place them exactly where you want. So you're kind of stuck to 90 degrees here and there. So that's why I was able to come up with just this being more of a box design that had to kind of hover this way. And you know what? It doesn't look half bad, but at the same time, it isn't really a spaceship in my opinion. It's more of a flying building is how it ended up, but it ended up working out all right. I kind of like it. It fits with the theme of flying islands and stuff, and you can see where a building like that might be able to move between one point or another, or just, I don't know, just some sort of crazy headquarters you go to watch over some of the different rides in the park. I don't know, like an administrator building of some sort. I think it's kind of cool. It came out all right, but it's definitely not what I would have really liked to have, which been more of a free form with jet engines and rockets and more of a spaceship in my opinion. But unfortunately, it just wasn't quite possible. The coolest part about this building for me is the actual rocket engines, using these little electronic panels to make it look like it's holding this sort of booster in place, and then I have some other, I don't know, scaffolding that kind of holds onto the rocket itself, and then the AC units up there. It added a good amount of detail into this rocket area, and also using some VFX here, which is just a big flamethrower, and then pushing it farther up so that it was a little bit wider by the time it came out at the bottom here. I thought it was pretty cool. It ended up working out pretty good. Of course, the rest of it's a little boxy, but there's definitely some promise in what you can do right here, especially with the VFX and all that stuff. So, I don't know. It was pretty cool. It was a good experiment to try to learn more of the building techniques and to see what all is possible and maybe come up with some ideas for different themes that I'll then build buildings for roller coasters and stuff like that beyond there. A couple of the other things I did here in the park, which I'm going to go ahead and show you in another time lapse, is I have completed the walking path, or so we say, just more of a preliminary version of the walking path throughout the park, so people can actually move throughout the entire park here and ride all of the different rides. So we can see over here, the big green monster here is being ridden. We also got like the atomic drop or whatever else we're going to call it is also being ridden over here by some of these people. Look at that. Look at how many people can fit on this roller coaster. Jeez, that's ridiculous. Watch them. They're all going to get out and they're all just going to be sick. We also got some of the more extreme rides and they're filling up with people. We also got the big swing down here again. So the path walks, goes up over the ridge, and then heads back down here to the beginning area. One of the things that I am starting to face here in the park is some serious overcrowding here, mostly because I probably have too many different businesses in one spot. Having businesses on both sides of the path here, even though it's big, does kind of cause some traffic jams. And when traffic jams happen, you see how people walk through it, and they walk through quite a bit slower. I noticed that when I was actually following people. It used to be quite a bit worse before people had spread out through the rest of the park, but it's still, there's some overcrowding areas, and it kind of makes me think that you should be able to have a way to take these paths and make them larger if they already pre-exist. All in all, though, this whole park is really working out quite well, and it's starting to come together. Got people riding all the different rides, and they're having a lot of fun. Also added a little bit of a, what do you call this, carousel over here, just to have some fun and stuff like that. Anyhow, let's head on over here to the comments and see what you guys have to say. Lucas here is referring to the last roller coaster I built. He says, nice roller coaster, although I do agree that you'd probably end up hurting some people on that roller coaster. And he says, I also love the idea of using roller coasters as transport, and that would be very handy for a multi-themed park. Well, I went ahead and tried this the other day using multiple stations, and the roller coaster just went right through the other station, so I'm not sure it's going to be as possible as we would like it, or as I would have liked it to work. But I'm guessing that they're going to have transportation vehicles at some point here in the near future, so we might just have to stick to that, and you can have some fun with those every once in a while. But I don't think the whole idea of an actual metro-style roller coaster that has multiple stations is really going to be that feasible of a thing. We'll just have to see if it ends up a thing later on in the game. He also says that he is doing a little bit of Adventure Communist on his channel. So that's pretty cool. Go check him out. That game is yet to come out in the beta, but I hear it's close, but I don't have a date for you. Nicolas Cage Gaming cannot wait till it comes out in beta. Okay, now that's the one thing I mentioned. I said it was coming into the beta. What it's actually going to be releasing onto Steam is Alpha 3.0. I'm not sure how that's different from beta. I'm not sure if they're going to have a beta or they're just going to keep incrementing the alphas up, but we'll just have to see. I'm also not sure how much it's going to cost. To get into the game currently at this point, it costs $70. There was a little bit of a premium you paid just to kind of help the game develop, and I felt like that was an okay thing for me to pay. I don't know what it's going to cost on Steam, though. XX Minecrafter wants me to play Mario Kart 8. I don't have anything to actually play Mario Kart 8 on, but thanks for the recommendation. The Vlogging Kib. GG, man. Welcome to the video, and thanks for commenting. And thanks for everybody else here saying good gaming and stuff. I'm just trying to read the comments that are more or less build on the conversation, right? Chris Hand Gaming says, Morning, Brothgar. Also, do you have any more roller coaster ideas? Yeah, of course I do. I thought about making a feet dangling roller coaster that goes up to the highest point and dives straight down. I actually did think about that. And I was thinking if it were to go all the way up and then dive straight down, that it could go under the station and then curl all the way up and kind of make, I don't know what it just keeps going up and curling back down on itself over and over again to make like a star pattern at some point. At least that's the way I thought of it, and that would be kind of cool. I might have to try building that at some point. The other thing I want to get into the habit of doing is trying to remember how long I'm making sections, how much I'm turning them, and how much I'm twisting them, so that I can start to build kind of a catalog of different patterns for how you make certain turns and stuff, which would then really help for me to build more tutorials of how you make certain turns and whatnot that are beyond some of the default ones you have in the game. I've actually got some cool ideas of how I might be able to do that in CAD and then bring them into the game. We'll just have to see if that works though. The Hobbit says, Brothgar, things in your park are starting to look amazing. Can't wait to see what else you got coming up with. Yeah, we've built up the front part of the park, but now we kind of got to start building back. And I think the farther we got to go back, the bigger we got to get. Inter Retro Gaming says, name it Atomic Drop. He's talking about the last flying roller coaster right there. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to start taking pictures of these roller coasters, putting them up on my Twitter account, and then asking you to name them. And then that ends up, hopefully, by the time the next video goes up. Or something like that. I'm guessing at some point we're going to have a Steam workshop where we're going to be able to make these roller coasters and then as patterns and then release them. So that'll be kind of cool. I want to find a way to get you guys to actually name the roller coasters that I'm building beforehand so they end up in the video and they also get released onto the workshop. So it's all a big community thing. Love me. This is Area 55. You are loved. I have to reply. Less than 3. I love your videos, man. Keep up the good work, says the Bronny. And like I always say, money is your main fame. Money. And that's it for the comments there. Thank you guys for commenting and enjoying the video. For those of you guys that have some more recommendations of different roller coasters or ideas that you want me to make, go ahead and leave them down there in the comment section below. I'm going to try to make that feet dangling roller coaster here. Probably by the next episode. I was building this roller coaster here. Figure I might as well finish this off with a little bit of a ride. This was me just kind of playing around with a roller coaster style that I hadn't tried yet. Just seeing which ones have more stuff built into them and which ones don't. Like the launch roller coasters can't go over on the back of itself. We also saw the same thing with the Giga Rage roller coaster where it doesn't have the ability to invert, and there just isn't. It isn't developed enough within the game yet to really be full-fledged. But I decided to make a custom looping one here, and the cool thing about this one, for now, I'm guessing it won't be this way forever, especially maybe even Alpha 3.0 or beyond there, where your lifting chain can actually be completely upside down. Obviously, you'd never be able to maintenance this thing unless you'd never be able to maintenance. You have to have like magnetic boots or something to walk up this thing. But I figured I might as well give you guys a little bit of ride on this thing. It's not that fancy, and I'm probably going to delete it here later on. But let's go ahead and ride this roller coaster out to finish off the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode here of Planet Coaster, and I'll see you guys next time. If I've earned your subscription, then thank you so much for that. Stay awesome, guys. Peace. Brothgar out.